My name's Bruce. I'm a CF dad. I think there's a couple other CF dads here with us tonight. Would you give a wave out, please? Thanks, Ed. Anybody else? Thanks for being here with us tonight. When Becky and I were asked to speak at tonight's event, I have to tell you that I pondered a lot as to what I should talk about. After having had CFP in my life for 25 years now, I found that it's affected a lot of different aspects of the way I live. Just about every part of our life. And there's a lot of topics that I could talk about. I mean, I think a little bit about government and how our government passes laws, how it spends our tax dollars. Like, should we have more money go to the National Institutes of Health? Should we have that money go to more CF research? Good questions. I don't have a lot of good answers. There's topics like religion. You know, when it comes to a disease like cystic fibrosis, you have to ask yourself, well, how do I feel about abortion? What do I think about stem cell research? And then there's things like the insurance industry. How do we make sure that kids and adults with CF have insurance coverage? How do they afford it? How do we pay for it? These are all really good questions. I have to tell you, I'm not well versed in any of them. I don't have any experience in really any of those things other than what my life has given to me. So I thought I'd just talk a little bit tonight about being a CF dad. Being a CF dad starts when one of your children is diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. And I have to tell you, for me, while that wasn't the darkest time in my life, it was real close. It was a difficult time. A lot of questions went through my mind. How will my child live? How long will my child live? How are we going to deal with this? How am I going to pay for it? And I gotta say that I still struggle with some of those questions. But our learning experience as CF dads starts almost immediately. We learn a little bit about genetics. We learn that about 1 in 30 Americans carry the gene that causes cystic fibrosis. Looking out over the crowd here tonight, it's a good one. And if I take away the people who I know who are CF parents and people who have CF themselves, and as a result carry the gene, I'm thinking that there might be between 10 and 15 of you that carry the gene. You don't know about it. That's okay. Carrying the gene is not a really dangerous thing unless your spouse does. And that's one of the next things that a CF dad will learn. We learn that in terms of pregnancies, when both parents carry the CF gene, there's a 1 in 4 chance that the baby will end up having cystic fibrosis. I'm not a real gambler, but I can pretty much tell you that those aren't real good odds. And as a result, most of us CF dads don't do much gambling. We learned some other things too, and some of it gets a bit more detailed. We learned what causes the problem with our kids' bodies. And this thing is called the cystic fibrosis transconductance regulator protein. And I gotta tell you, I can't say that 3 times real fast. It's a mouthful. But that is the little so-and-so that messes up our kids' bodies. And in my very layman's terms, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a geneticist or anything like that, I can tell you that the protein associated here causes an imbalance between salt and water transfer in our kids' cell walls. And in the kids' mucous membranes, like their lungs, the result of this imbalance is that their mucus is thick, it's sticky, it's gooey. And in the case of their lungs, it's a great place. That sticky, thick mucus, it's a great place for some pretty nasty bacteria to breed and cause infection. There's a lot of mutations associated with that protein. There's a lot of different types of problems that can result because of that. One of the other things that us CF dads learn is that for our kids, we can't fix that. And there's a whole host of other things that we learn. As the kids get older, we learn a little bit more about how their pancreas works. We learn about pancreatic enzymes, how that affects their nutrition. As they get a little older, we understand what hospitalizations are. We learn about antibiotics. We learn about the damn antibiotic pumps in the hospitals. We learn about PICC lines. Not very many of these things are fun, I can guarantee. But one of the things that I would say all of us learn, one of the things that's probably the most important for us to learn, is that we love our kids a little bit more. Both the ones with CF and the ones without. We recognize that our kids are special, they're important, and as a result, we want to be able to spend a lot of time with them. Take pride in the fact that I'm able to spend some time tonight with Becky here in front of all of you. And she's agreed to speak tonight as well. Before she does, I'd like to tell you a little bit about her. She's my third child. She's giggling behind me, thank you. She's my third child, my second daughter. About 25 years ago, when she was 6 months old, her and her older brother, Kevin, were diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. Since then, she's done an awful lot of amazing things. She graduated high school from Parkland. She graduated with a cum laude English literature degree from Kutztown State University. She holds a job at a local credit union. She's inherited her mother's beauty, both inside and out. Yeah, I thought that would get something. She might have inherited a little bit of my sense of humor. And she definitely got her granddad's bass catching ability, no doubt about that. But one of the things that strikes me most about her is her courage and her bravery. Every morning that she gets out of bed, every blessed morning, she puts on her armor and wades into combat in her personal battle against cystic fibrosis every single day. Proudly, I'd like to present Miss Rebecca Leonard.